All right, welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Bullpen Banter podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am your co-host, Scott Haas, and I'm with my boy, Ethan Coombs. And today we got a nice loaded slate for you guys. Today we're going to be going over predicted stats for the superstars that we have selected. We're also going to be predicting the AL awards. We'll also be predicting the AL West standing. So, Ethan, why don't we get into it?
Yeah, so the first superstar we're going to be going over today is Mr. Aaron Judge, coming off another MVP season. He's won the MVP two out of the last 3 years now. To look at Aaron Judge a little bit, in 2024, he had a 322 average, which was third in the league, 458 on base percentage, which was first and a career best, 58 home runs, which was first, 122 runs, which was fourth, 144 RBIs, which was first, slug 701, which was first, and another career best, which is absolutely crazy. OPS was first, walked first, WAR first, WRCP plus first, and a career best, and a career low strikeout percentage at 24.3%. So basically, what we're getting at is Aaron Judge is becoming Thanos. He's collecting all the Infinity Stones. He's the best hitter in the league by, I think, a pretty good margin. Some people may argue otherwise, but I think it's Aaron Judge. I don't think it's close. So we're going to go over five stats for each of the guys that we got. And our stats for Aaron Judge, we're going to predict his home runs, average, on base percentage, RBI, and WAR. Um, yeah, so starting off with home runs, I'm predicting Aaron Judge to hit 48 home runs, which is going to lead the American League this season, in my opinion. What do you think?
I think that's a pretty healthy prediction. I think Aaron Judge has shown us that he can hit more than 50 home runs at any given moment in a season or during a season, excuse me. I have him going for 44 home runs this season. I do see him going a little lower. I think he returns a little bit back to his means. I mean, his means could be fucking 80 home runs if he really wanted to, if he stays healthy and the Yankees give him enough ABs. But yeah, I got him at 44 home runs. I think it's going to be a little bit lower of a power number season this year.
I agree, mainly because he doesn't have Juan Soto in the lineup now, protecting him a little bit. And even when he didn't have Juan Soto, though, he hit 62 home runs. So it's hard to say, but I do see a little regression in terms of home runs. Batting average now, I got Aaron Judge hitting 295. I see 323 felt like an outlier for him, but I wouldn't be shocked to see him hit over 300 again.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, 322, when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, I feel like he sees the baseball and it's a beach ball to him. So this season, I do think he returns back to the means a little bit. I think I have him hitting about 288. I know that's still a little higher than his career, I believe, because I want to say he's like a like 70,
I think high
high
270s.
70s. Yeah. Yeah. So I think he's going to hit 288 this season. I like that number for him.
Yeah, I think that's a good prediction. On base percentage, 405. So just slight regression across the boards, I think. But again, not having Juan Soto is going to. I could see his on base percentage actually being higher, though, at the same time, because there's going to be no reason to pitch to this guy anymore, you know?
No, I agree. I think it's hard to predict stats for superstars, of course. So silly us for trying to get this right. But, it's just ballpark estimates at this point. So I have him batting about or having an OBP of 400. I think that's where he's going to be sitting around. I mean, yeah, I don't think there's really going to be a regression, but, we got to get a couple points in there for the fans.
Yeah, when I was thinking about it, I was like, well, he doesn't have Juan Soto anymore, so he doesn't have the protection. But then at the same time, it's like as a pitcher, why even pitch to the guy? Just walk him. So it's going to
Hmm.
be interesting what's going to happen with Aaron Judge next year. RBI totals, I got him at 120. I do think his RBIs will be down a little bit. 144 is a crazy number. I think 120 feels about right for him.
I think 120 is a good guess or a good estimate. I would say about 110. I don't know, I don't know if the Yankees ahead of him are going to be getting on base as many times as they were this last season. I mean, of course, who knows? Maybe pitchers are just feeling real brave and ballsy and they walk the first couple of guys and they're like, you know what? I feel like I can face Aaron Judge today. And they leave a fucking Schmeat ball over the plate and then it's a grand slamming.
Now
So,
those Schmeat balls that Scott's talking about. Now that's an actual stat. I don't know if you knew that, but meatballs, it's a dead center middle pitch, and Aaron Judge against meatballs last year hit over 700. So He does not miss the mistakes. And then we have Aaron Judge. Both of us predicted Aaron Judge's WAR to be at 9, which is, I guess, regression, but that is still high enough to lead the MLB in WAR. Only like two players had a higher WAR than that last year. So both of us have him at 9 for WAR. So maybe slight regression, I guess, for his standards, but still an MVP caliber season. I have him going for 295 average, 48 bombs, and 120 RBIs, which could very well be in the running for another triple crown, possibly.
100%. I mean, I got him going for 44 bombs, hitting 288 and 110 RBIs. That is an MVP season, but at the same time, I think I got him finishing second to somebody in that same division. So,
Interesting. Our next guy, Mr. Juan Soto, the guy who's been talked about most in free agency this offseason, superstar, signed a huge contract. He finished 16th in average last year with the 288 average, 419 OBP, which was second only to his teammate Aaron Judge, 41 home runs, which was career high for him, fourth in the MLB, 128 runs scored, second. RBIs were up there, slugging was up there. He was top five in statistically everything except average, and his average was still by his standards, right on par. So, how do you think Juan Soto's going to do this year?
honestly, I'll just go ahead and give you all my numbers, give you a little breakdown of what I'm thinking he's going to do for the season. So for home runs, I think he's going to hit 35 bombs this season. I do think he's going to kind of go back down to where he usually hits. I don't think he has as short of a porch in right or just kidding. Yeah, what is it? Right field, left
Yep,
field in the
right
Yankee
field.
Stadium? I don't fucking know. But yeah, I think he's going to hit 275, 410 OBP. I think he's going to have 95 RBIs. I think it is going to dip, not significantly, but just a good amount. I don't think the Mets. I mean, we saw them heat up. They made the postseason last season. And I think I mean, signing Juan Soto bolsters your lineup more than any other signing could, but I'd like to see a couple more signings or just something, a couple more players besides Frankie and Vientos and all them. But I mean, we got to re-sign Alonso or something, but
Yeah, I agree completely with that. I do see Juan Soto regressing a little bit. It's not a hitter-friendly stadium. It's a big field. And there's going to be some regression at the same time. He has room for maybe hitting some more doubles and stuff. But yeah, you don't have Aaron Judge in the lineup. And that is a big, big factor for a guy like Juan Soto. When you look at that last season, not that it's an outlier season by any means, but it helps a lot. And Aaron Judge not having him hitting right behind you, guys are going to be willing to pitch a lot more to you. It's harder to hit home runs in the stadium, but at the same time, it's Juan Soto. He's got the best eye, maybe other than like Barry Bonds in MLB history. I have Juan Soto going for 35 home runs, so we're right on the head there. A 280 average, on base percentage of 420, 100 RBIs, 6.5 WAR. So we're real similar on all of
yeah.
our projections right there. Yeah, not that he's regressing or anything. I think he's just hitting in a harder ballpark. And like you said, the Mets have to do something to, I think mainly their pitching. It's underwhelming. It's an underwhelming rotation, and if the pitching's not good and you start losing games because of that, I think it can affect the lineup and the chemistry. And I do think they need to re-sign Alonso. He's been a great player for them. Maybe he's an unlikable player, but he's a great player for them. And I think he likes playing in New York. He handles the pressure well. He likes the big moments, and I think that's someone you need to put back in that lineup for sure. So next up on the list, we got Mr. Ronald Acuna coming off of an injury-ridden season, but the year before we know he won the MVP, had a absolute monster season. 337 average in 2023, 41 bombs, 171 WRC plus, 11.4% strikeout rate, which is outrageous. And he had 73 stolen bags, as we know. All of those numbers to start the season were way down to start 2024. But again, he got hurt. He never got an opportunity to get hot. And that's kind of how Ronald Acuna's career has been. I feel like he's had these really good seasons and then some ones where you're like, that's kind of crazy. But yeah, how do you see his season going?
Oh, for sure, I agree. I think, not just Braves fans, but I just think baseball fans in general want to see a consecutive healthy seasons from Ronald Acuna Jr. I think he has the potential to be, with Mike Trout, dude, he can change baseball. Like I think he makes baseball very fun, in 2023, just his numbers, thinking about it, he won I mean, I imagine he won NL MVP. But it's just so when I considered his numbers, I did take into account like injury, because I do think, unfortunately he do got that Mike Trout disease where he can't stay on the field. So I have him hitting 25 bombs this season, hitting 290, 380 on base percentage. I do have him stealing 40 bases though. The thing about Ronald Acuna is he could play 20 games and he could hit that line.
Yeah.
So I have him finishing with a 5.0 WAR, but I think that's going to be significantly higher. If he plays the whole season, I think all of those numbers will be significantly higher. We saw what he did in 2023. So,
Yeah,
what do you think he's going to do?
I'm with you there on all of it. If he stays healthy, I kind of factored in he will be healthy for the season. I got him at 30 home runs, 295 average, 380 OBP. So we hit the pretty real similar for our first three there. I have him at 50 stolen bases and a 6.0 WAR. Again, if he stays healthy, he is a 6 or higher WAR guy in my opinion. But like Scott said, he just has to stay healthy. So Scott factoring the possibility that he might be injured a little more. Me, not as much, but if he stays healthy, I think he's a top five player in the league.
100%. He's very exciting to watch. I think all these players on the list are very exciting to watch. So let's go ahead and jump into the next player. We got Shohei Ohtani. Even why don't you go ahead and tell us about Shohei's stats in 2024?
Shohei Ohtani, it's not even, you don't even need to talk about his stats because everybody knows what Ohtani's been doing. And now he's going to be pitching again, which is absolutely crazy. Shohei Ohtani might have had last season the greatest single game performance in MLB history when he set the 50-50 mark. That was just absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, Shohei Ohtani, not even going to go into his stats. We know what he does. He's one of the best hitters in baseball, if not I'll say the second best. I'm not going to put him above Aaron Judge as a hitter, but as an overall player, Shohei Ohtani is by far and above the best player in MLB, maybe that we've ever seen, especially if he can do it for a little more. But yeah, next season, I got Ohtani hitting 30 home runs. I got him having a 295 average, 50 stolen bases. I think he regresses because he's going to be pitching a lot more. And it seems like when he pitches a lot more, I wouldn't be shocked to see Ohtani go for 50 bombs, though. So it absolutely wouldn't shock me. But I got him hitting 30 this year. I pitching wise, I got him at an ERA of 3.4, which is right around the career norm for him. It's a little high, but I think he's going to be limited on innings, which is why I think those numbers could be inflated a little bit. If he was able to pitch deeper into games, I could see the ERA lowering, but I think he's going to be kind of be like that Blake Snell a couple years ago, 5 inning guy deeper into the season, I could see him going longer, but I think they're going to want to limit him because why not? The Dodgers have an insane rotation. They don't need to abuse Ohtani. And I wouldn't be shocked to see Ohtani not this year, but maybe in a couple years go to the pen and be a closer or something. I think that would be absolutely electric, actually. So I got Ohtani pitching 135 innings this year, but I had his strikeouts through the roof. I got him at 160.
Man, Ohtani out of the pen. Oh my God, that's terrifying. I mean, we saw it in the WBC in 2023
hmm
as well. Struck our boy Trout out, but all right. So I agree with you. I do see him regressing in honestly both areas in pitching and hitting. I mean, he's proven that he can be an MVP doing either. Won a Cy Young pitching, won a fucking MVP hitting. I see him hitting 40 bombs, of course, hitting 280 and having 40 stolen bases. Um, I think it's going to be limited ABs compared to his last season, but because he's going to be pitching, in terms of pitching, I have him at a 360 ERA, which is a little higher than his career average, you were saying. But I think he's going to be having less innings, but I also think he's going to be a little more comfortable, kind of letting his defense play if they want, or kind of just letting the hitters hit, or the opposing hitters hit because he knows that his offense is going to go out and score or has the potential to go out and score about 10 runs a game.
Yeah.
Um, my thoughts are he's going to pitch about 125 innings this season because the Dodgers, they're already going to this World Series as the NL representatives, man. They already know it in their head. So they're like, why don't we go ahead and save Ohtani? We can let him pitch a couple games throughout the season, keep the arm fresh. But he's mainly going to be our hitter. I see him throwing or having 145 strikeouts. So even in 125 innings, he's still going to get them Ks. But yeah, I do think those numbers are going to look a little more human, but
Yeah.
they're still going to be crazy.
I completely agree. And I would not be shocked for Ohtani in the first half to have like almost a 4 ERA even because of the limited innings. And then the second half, when they unleash him, it's going to be stupid, I think, to be honest with you. So if Otani even puts up like relatively close to those numbers, he's going to win the MVP, guys. So yeah, he's regressing as an MVP still. So our next guy on the list, Bobby Witt Jr., coming off of an absolutely stupid year where if there wasn't a man named Aaron Judge, he would have easily won the MVP. Unfortunately, Aaron Judge is possibly a top five hitter of all time. So Bobby Witt last year had a 332 average, which is freaking crazy. 389 OBP, 32 bombs, 125 runs scored, 109 RBIs, 588 slugging, OPS of 977, and a 10.4 WAR, which was higher than Otani. Granted, Otani was a DH, but still nonetheless, Bobby Witt, absolutely a freaking animal, man. I mean, people said years ago that he was the second coming of Mike Trout and stuff, and I'm starting to believe it now. That was an absolutely remarkable season. What do you think, man?
Dude, yeah. Oh my God. I think watching Bobby Witt, putting parlays on Bobby Witt, one of the best decisions you can ever do financially. Nah, I'm just playing, but I love watching Bobby Witt play. I love watching the Royals play, honestly, you know. Um, I think that I don't know. I think they got something nice cooking up in Kansas City, you know. I
They
mean,
do.
obviously you got your powerhouses in the AL, but don't be surprised if Kansas City goes out and wins 95 games this season. But all right. So for his season though, I do see him honestly staying pretty on par for last season. I think he does regress just the tiniest bit, but it's still going to be a hell of a season. 28 bombs, 315 average, 350 OBP. I think he's going to have 45 stolen bases, and he's going to finish with an 8 WAR. Um, I just can't say enough good things about Bobby Witt, bro. If you go look at his like baseball savant page, everything is in the red
Yeah.
except for his chase percentage or some
Yeah.
there's like one stat that's like you want it to be in the blue and it's like a zero. It's insane. I love looking at his page. I love looking like just watching the Royals play, man. Good stuff.
Yeah, Bobby Witt's an absolute tear. Like I said, I got him going for 30 bombs. So, like Scott said, pretty much what he did last year, maybe a little lower on the average side of things, because pitchers are going to be more careful pitching to him. Not because he's going to regress, but they're going to be more careful pitching to this guy now. Royals are adding to that lineup as well. So 310 average, 360 OBP, 40 stolen bags, and an 8 WAR were right on the line there with each other. I think, truthfully, if Bobby Witts puts up these numbers and Aaron Judge doesn't go for like 55 plus home runs again, I think Bobby Witt's a lock for the MVP. If he does this because of voter fatigue for that MVP, I don't see Judge winning it unless he does like something absolutely crazy again, which he will, but for his standards, it's going to have to be even better. So, Bobby Witt. All right. And last on our list, we got Mr. Mike Trout. So, I think Trout's a fun one to talk about just because of this was a man that we at one point were thinking like, man, this could be the greatest player of all time. And he was in those conversations with being, Barry Bonds of our generation and all these good things. And man, he really was for a while there, but the injuries have killed Mike Trout. He has only played more than 82 games one time in the last 5 seasons, which is absolutely crazy. The injury bug has gotten him bad. He has some back problems, neck problems, everything it feels like. So he missed 133 games last year. He started the year off. He only hit 220 to start the year, but the dude was hitting nukes. He had 10 home runs in those games. And I remember it was just so weird because he had all these RBIs and all these home runs, and he had the lowest strikeout percentage he's had in 5 years, but he had a 220 average. So it seemed like he was just really hitting into some bad luck in the very few games that he played, which to me, it's a good sign because that won't last over the course of a whole season. So if Mike Trout stays healthy, I think he can put up an MVP caliber season. I have him going for 34 home runs, a 267 on average, which is well below his career average. But again, I think he's just a different type of player now. He has to be 340 OBP. I think he's going to play in 120 games. I hope he plays in that many. I hope for more than that, but that's a realistic number. And I got him with the 3.7 WAR.
I think I think those are all really good predictions. I think unfortunately with Trout, you know, you almost have to take into consideration the games that he's gonna miss. But like you said, he was hitting all those home runs. Before he got injured, he was leading the league in home runs.
Yeah.
He had 10, you know, which I think he was either leading the league or he was tied with the probably Marcelo Zuna for the
Hmm.
lead, you know. So it just goes to show, you know, like if you give this man fucking I have him going for 135 games. If he goes for 140 games, man, and he's healthy, I think MVP numbers, but like you said, we don't know if he's going to be that same player that he has been in the past. He's been dealing with that like severe back injury that's been
Hmm.
like really scary for him. He didn't even know if he was going to be playing anymore. So I have him if if he's healthy, 45 bombs, 270 average, which, like you said, pretty low, but I do see him hitting a lot more taters. 350 on base percentage. Like I said, 135 games played, and I think he has a 4 WAR. I do think that if the Angels, I have a couple thoughts about the Angels, but I'll just keep it quick. I think the Angels should, if they want to preserve Mike Trout, like keep him at the DH, man. Don't
Yeah,
let him be in the
yeah.
outfield anymore.
I'm on board with you there, man. Unfortunately, because he's so fun to watch in the outfield. So those are our superstar stat projections for this year. I really hope out of all those guys, I would love to see Mike Trout have just the most healthy season. I would love to see all of them have great seasons, but seeing Mike Trout do it one more time would be fantastic. All right, so the next thing we're going to move on to here, we are going to predict the awards for next season, the major ones, and let's start off with the American League, okay? And we'll go bar for bar, band for band here. I'm going to start off with my batting champion in the American League. I have Mr. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He's in a contract year. I think he's going to go absolutely off. He finished last year crazy. I had Vladdy hitting 327 and winning the AL batting title.
Ooh, I love that. I really do. I love Vladdy, Blue Jays bias, but I got Bobby Witt as my batting champion for the AL. I think he's going to be, a little lower 315, but I still think that's going to lead the AL. I think Vladdy will probably finish somewhere closer to like 305, 310.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, home run leader. I got Mr. Aaron Judge, and like I said earlier, I have him hitting 48 home runs. I think there's going to be less home runs this year. I can't tell you why, but I think there will be. So 48, I think, wins the American League home run league.
That's interesting. I got Vladimir Guerrero Jr. taking the crown off of Aaron Judge's head and placing it on himself for the home run champion. I have him hitting 48 home runs.
Boy, if Vladdy hits my average and he hits your amount of home runs, that man's going to be crazy next year. Imagine a
Pay him.
327, 48 home run guy. That'd be freaking nuts. All right. Now we're going to do our pitching earned run average leader, and y'all are going to see something crazy with me. But I got Mr. Tarek Skubal giving me a 1.97 ERA next year.
I don't think it's that crazy. I got the same thing. I got Tarek Skubal. I got him a little bit of higher ERA at 2.1, but yeah, he's a dog. He deserves to be paid.
That man last year, so I worked for a company where we did stats and stuff. That was our job. And this man, Tarek Skubal, brother, if you look at his first like 10 starts versus the rest of the season, there is a reason for my madness to these projections I'm going to show you. And this man was not all that to start the season, which is crazy considering how he finished. So if he has a full season of playing like that, dude, I could see him going on a crazy run. And you'll see what I mean in my projections. Strikeouts leaders, I got Terry Skubal again, and I got him at 244. He's gonna go crazy.
I think that's a great pick, obviously, but I got another AL Central guy. I got Cole Reagans, brother. I think Cole Reagans is going to go ahead and throw 250 strikeouts, but for the boys, I got 236 on the season.
It's crazy that Cole Reagans was basically traded for a bag of rocks, and now he's an absolute dog. Good for him, man. I love Cole Reagans. That's a great pick. Cy Young Award winner, I have Mr. Tarek Skubal. Who would have thought?
Yeah, I would have thought. Yeah, and for my Cy Young, I got Cole Reagans. I think Tarek is going to come in second. I mean, it's going to be neck and neck all season, but fingers crossed it's Cole Reagans.
I love it. And now my boldest prediction, probably for the first time since Clayton Kershaw and Justin Verlander, my most valuable player pick is a pitcher, and it's going to be Tarek Skubal.
I love that, dude. I would love to see it, but not as much as I would love to see my MVP. Prediction is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Like you said, high batting average. I think he's going to hit a million home runs in this contract year. Give him the MVP while we're at it.
I would not be shocked to see Vladdy have an MVP caliber season at all. I think he's going to have a monster year. Hopefully, he doesn't get traded midway through the year to a contender. That's my one worry about him winning awards. If he goes to like a National League team who needs a first baseman like the Braves or something. Um, all right, so let's move on to the National League. My batting champion, and now I will say this has been a hot take, especially on the videos I posted on TikTok. People aren't liking it, but this is my guy. This is my guy. We all know it. and he's going to have another freaking amazing season. He's going to up it since the past 2 years. Give me Trey Turner hitting 309.
Yeah, I need you guys to go take a look at that video of Max Kellerman screaming Andre Iguodala. That's how I feel about Trey Turner as well, dude. If you guys play MLB The Show, you guys know how good this man's swing is. He had a little bit of a down season to start the year last season, but who gives a shit? That's last year. We're talking about the future. MVP season coming for Trey Turner.
And guys, just remember, Trey Turner had a down year and hit 295. Like, what are we doing? I know he was injured and stuff. He had a baby too, guys. Like, this man is still him, bro. He is him. I'm telling you. Now, I don't know about his defense and stuff, but the bat is there. All right. Moving on to our home run leader. No shocks with me. I like your pick. I'm looking at. I didn't even see that you made that pick yet, so I hope he stays in the National League. My pick is Mr. Shohei Ohtani. I have him hitting 50.
I mean, you always got to take into consideration Shohei. Honestly, anybody on that Dodgers team could go for 40, 50 if they really felt like it. But man, if Pete Alonso doesn't sign or re-sign with the Mets, I still think he's gonna go for 45 bombs. That's what I got him hitting. Pete Alonso is the home run champion, but
I
someone's got to
like it
sign
a
him.
lot. I hope he stays with the Mets because if he does and he has Soto in that lineup, I could see that for sure. Okay, and now let's go to our pitching earned run average leader. I have Zach Wheeler with the 2.24.
I like that one a lot, but I think Zach Wheeler has shown that he's going to be a very consistent, reliable pitcher, especially for the Phillies. But I got Paul Skeens, bro. I think Paul Skeens season to the moon. I got him at a 1.95 ERA, which is just a tad lower than you got Tarek at.
Yep, and Paul Skeens was my number two for strikeouts and for ERA. I could see Paul Skeens winning the Cy Young, honestly, by a landslide this year if he puts up the season that he's capable of putting up. Going down to strikeouts now, probably a hot take with this one, but I could definitely see it happening, especially the way he finished the year. Give me Michael King. I have him at 262 strikeouts.
Dude, I love that pick. Honestly, I was taking a look at his page and like he's just got nasty, nasty stuff. And like, just it's crazy because he just signed to the Padres, right?
He's with them for another
Or
year,
he
yeah.
he's with them for another year. It's crazy that they got him and they got Dylan Cease, who I was debating between Paul Skeens and Dylan Cease between who is going to be the NL strikeout leader, but I do like Skeens just a little bit more. I don't think he's going to get up to 262 like my boy predicts, but I got Paul Skeens at 250 strikeouts on the
Yeah,
year.
250 is good. I wouldn't be shocked to see Spencer Strider have another crazy year either if he comes
Mm.
back healthy. And Chris Sale. There's some guys in the National League that can put up some strikeouts. So yeah, that's gonna be fun to watch. And then my Cy Young Award winner, I have Zach Wheeler doing it, man. I feel like he's gotten so close so many times. I think finally he gets over the hump, and he gets a little bit of help from the media this year because he's been so close the past few years.
I think that's a great take. But I think he's just gonna have to come in second one more time to Mr. Paul Skeens, dude. I think Paul Skeens, like you said, dude. I think he could go and win the pitching triple crown, dude. I would love to see it.
I would not be shocked to see Paul Skate. See, I want Wheeler to win. I think Wheeler's going to win. But if Paul Skeens wins unanimously, I would not be surprised at all. All
Yeah.
right. Now, our MVPs for the National League. I have Mr. Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, man, it's hard not to pick Shohei Ohtani. I also have Shohei winning National League MVP, especially if he goes for the numbers that we project him to go for. Um, how do you not say that like an above average hitter and an above like not even above average, like great hitter, great pitcher, and he's the same fucking guy. Like, how does he not win MVP every season he does that?
He's going to finish as a top five hitter in the National League. Might be number one. Probably will be number one. And he's going to finish as a top 10 pitcher in the National League. If he does that, he is going to win the MVP, and it'll probably be unanimous. That man might finish his career with like 8 MVPs. Like, it's
I'd love
crazy
to
to think
see it.
about. All right, so that is our awards wrap up, and next we're going to move on to the American League West predictions. We'll finish most of our episodes with one of these until the season starts. Okay, so now we're going on to the American League West. We had to get our audio back going. All right. So in the American League West, we're gonna have some hot takes in here. I think this is a really tough division, to be honest with you, which sounds kind of crazy because it feels like there's some teams that are just ass, but they're not going to be as ass this year. So starting off with the A's, not the Oakland A's, just the A's. Um, the projected lineup is Butler, Rooker, who just signed a 5-year extension, which was huge. We had guys talking crazy about Rooker on our TikTok saying that he is like a D tier player, and that is just absolutely blasphemous. This man could win an MVP. Like it's crazy.
Dude, I'm gonna have to go create a burner, go cook them boys.
Yeah,
What the fuck?
that was the craziest comment I saw. Then we have JJ Bleday, Langeliers, Soderstrom, Zach Geloff, Seth Brown, Gio Urshela, Jacob Wilson, who is going to be a tear if he can stay healthy. Face that dude in college. He's absolutely freaking nasty. He went to Grand Canyon. And then their bench is composed of Andujar, Esturi Ruiz, Darrell Hernandez. And then the rotation, they signed Luis Severino. They got Jeffrey Springs, which we mentioned in the last podcast, which is good for him. JP Sears, they have Esses, and they have Mitch Spence. And then their closer, obviously, Mason Miller. Absolute stud. Absolute stud. Yeah, what do you think of this A's team?
I mean, obviously they're not gonna go out and make the playoffs, but honestly, I like this A's lineup, you know. I think there's been a lot of bullshit going on with that organization for the past couple of years, but we won't get into all of that. I think that, last season, I want to say they won what, like 69 games or 68 games, something like that,
Something like that, yeah.
Uh, a lot of the books have them projected at 70 wins or
Yep.
70 and a half. I like the over on them. I like them at 73. I think, you know, we saw Lawrence Butler hit absolute taters last season. We know what Brent Rooker can do. So I don't know why people are talking crazy on him. Like it just doesn't make sense to me. But
Blows my mind.
it does blow my mind. I feel like if I pulled up his numbers, like, and took a screenshot, posted it under that TikTok, they'd have to go and delete their TikTok. But
Bro had a 5.3 WAR last year.
that's what I'm saying. But real ball knowers know. But yeah, dude, I like the youth in this lineup, honestly. I
Yep.
like that, they're not gonna go out and make the playoffs this season, but 3, 4, 5 years down the road, I could see them, really pulling something together, like with these young players and really developing a strong core with Butler, Rooker, I know they're the older guys on that team, but like still, they still are pretty young for being older
Yeah.
guys, you
Yeah,
know.
no, for sure. I like the A's a lot this year. I think they're going to be much better than they were last year. And maybe it won't indicate in the record, but it will indicate in the stats, I think, because they had moments last year where they could have, like, statistically at points, were the best offense in the MLB. And then they had statistic points where they were by far the worst. So if they can just learn how to develop a little consistency with that lineup and not have Rooker carry the absolute load all the time, have some guys like Geloff perform a little bit better. Butler, I thought it was kind of funny. MLB has Lawrence Butler as the breakout star of the year for next season. And I'm like, was he not the breakout star of the year for last season? But okay, whatever. But yeah, it's not a bad lineup. They have potential to do a lot of good things. And like you said, I think we took ours from Caesars here, and it was 70.5 wins projected for them. You took the over at 73. I have the over at 74. So me and Scott both see them over projecting their win total, which I think is valid for the A's this year.
For sure.
All right, next up we have the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Their projected lineup, we have Taylor Ward, Rengifo, Trout, Soler, Chanel, Neto, Ohapi, Rendon, and Joe Adell. Joe Adell is such an interesting player, man. I feel bad for that dude, to be honest. He just needs a change of scenery, in my opinion, but he's still with the Angels. Their bench is comprised of Mickey Moniak, who was supposed to be like the next Mike Trout at some point, Darno, and Newman. I feel like you could say that for a lot of the Angels guys.
Mhm.
And then the rotation, Yusei Kikuchi is a pretty good pickup for them. Jose Soriano, Tyler Anderson, who had a really, really solid year last year. Kyle Hendrick is such a weird pickup. Reed Detmers and Dakota Hudson, if they were to go with the 6-man rotation. This is a weird rotation, in my opinion. Just a weird rotation. It could be an absolute shit show, I think. So, their closer, Ben Joyce, though, absolute animal. I low key hope he gets dealt somewhere in Angels fashion so he can not waste 105-mile-an-hour fastball for his whole career. How do you think the Angels are going to do?
100% dog shit team. You take Trout off this team, and I like the A's a lot more than I like this lineup. Um, I just don't know the direction that they're really going in, to be honest. They signed a guy like Jorge Soler, you still have Rendon on contract, and we don't know if they're going to trade Trout. We fingers fucking crossed they do, but I don't know, the recipe ain't working. They traded Otani a couple seasons ago, and it's been a disaster even before they traded Otani. So I think that this team fucking sucks. Under its 67 wins. Please trade Trout. Honestly, blow it up, sell the team, leave Anaheim. Anaheim sucks.
I
Just
don't
kidding.
know
I'm
what's
just
wrong
kidding.
with the Angels, man, because like they just refuse to rebuild. They refuse to full blown rebuild, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because they have Trout on the team and they want to. But they've already wasted Trout, man. They've done it. It's over. The prime of his career is over, which is really unfortunate to say. And I'm not saying he can't have great seasons like we talked about. He could have an MVP caliber season, but his true prime is over. They wasted it. The Angels, I will never forgive them for doing that. They're projected at 71 and a half wins. I don't know how that lineup's projected above the A's, to be completely honest with you. I have them over at or under at 68, and I could see them being nearly as bad as the White Sox were last year, which is a crazy statement to make. But I'm telling you, man, the lineup's not good. It isn't the worst lineup I've ever seen in the world, but it's not good. Um, that rotation though is so suspect. You say Kikuchi, sure, he finished strong with the Astros, but with the Blue Jays, he was not good at all. And
Mm-mm.
that's the Astros too, man. They know how to develop pitchers and they know how to turn them for some reason into Cy Young candidates. So the Angels don't know how to do that. So I think it's under. I gave him 68. I could see him winning 58. So we'll see. Next up, we got I despise the Angels right now, man. Next up, we got the Rangers. This is a team that's going to be real interesting to watch. They won the World Series 2 years ago, real down year last year. Projected lineup though: Semien, Seager, Langford, Jock Peterson, who they just added, Adolis Garcia coming off a really bad season. Maybe he can turn it around. Josh Young, absolute animal when he's healthy. Evan Carter, absolute animal when he's healthy. Jake Berger and Jonah Heim. Not to mention they have Tavares on the bench, good base runner. Josh Smith, who started a ton of games last year because of all the injuries, I'll see him rotating in as a utility guy, playing probably all over the place. Kyle Higashioka, good defensive guy for him, and Ezekiel Duran. Um, that lineup's good, man. It's a real good lineup. What do you think about the lineup?
Dude, that lineup is scary. Like, just you reading off of it, I was like, dude, any of these guys, any of their top, I don't know, six hitters could be MVP candidates, like Josh Young last season, I think he got injured at the end of the year,
Yep,
but he was an all-star, dude. Like he's a stud. And that was his first year playing in the leagues. I think that was his first year called up, right? Or was that his like
2 years
second
ago.
year? Second year?
Yeah,
Yeah, dude, he's a dog. But yeah, we talked about it last episode. You really love the Jock Peterson sign. Dude, I love this lineup. I really like the lineup.
yeah.
Um, yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I like the lineup a lot, man. I think it's going to be one of the best lineups in baseball. Their problem is definitely going to be the pitching side of things. So their rotation, and not that it's a bad rotation, it's a decent rotation, but it's an injury-prone rotation. So
Mhm.
you have Eovaldi, absolute animal. You have DeGrom, if healthy, absolute animal. We know this, but it's been a while. John Gray, Tyler Mahle, Cody Bradford, and Jack Leiter, who could be special if he figures it out. We know what he can do. We saw it at the college level. He's putting up Skeens-worthy numbers at the college level. And then you have Kumar Rocker, a former number one overall pick who didn't sign and then re-signs with the Mets, has all that drama and stuff. Kumar Rocker, if gets called up, I could see him in the bullpen actually. Maybe taking over as if someone gets hurt like DeGrom or something, but uh, a questionable rotation. It could be great. It could be absolute dog shit. It just depends on if they can stay healthy and anyways, the closing pitchers, they have Jacob Webb, Robert Garcia, Josh Schwartz. You don't know what they're going to do with the closer. So the bullpen's a question mark, but yeah, interesting rotation.
It is an interesting rotation for sure. I think, like you said, if they stay healthy, they have the potential to go out and win 105 games. The Rangers do, but like you said, we saw injuries to not only the rotation last season, but the starting lineup. So I think if they can stay healthy, I like their over. I like their over. I picked at 88, but we got to take into account the real life of the season. But um, don't be surprised if these guys stay healthy. They go out and win 95, 98 games, but uh, Yeah, we'll see about that rotation. I would love to think that DeGrom is going to come back healthy this season, and he's gonna he's not going to be fucking, I don't know, Cy Young DeGrom, but he's gonna be, I don't know, I could see him still having like a 3.0 ERA, still go out and throw like, if he could go out and get 160 innings, I think that's a dub for the Rangers, you know?
Big dub for sure. And DeGrom actually coming to this year's third in betting purposes in the Cy Young American League Cy Young prediction. So if he stays healthy, Caesars thinks that he's a Cy Young candidate still. So that's real good. The like you said, the projection was 85.5 for the Rangers. I took the over at 87. I think it's going to be a pretty competitive division.
Yeah, for sure. I think the top three teams are going to be the most. I think it's going to be one of the closest races in baseball. I don't think it's the most competitive division, but we'll get into that later. All right, so let's get into our second to last team.
Yeah, so we got the Seattle Mariners now. Boy, they missed the playoffs by one game last season. In true Mariners fashion, I feel like they do this every year, and we always have these high hopes for them. Well, guess what? I got high hopes for them again. The Mariners lineup: we got Robles, Julio coming off a down year, Cal Raleigh coming off a major year, Rosarena, who they traded for, Rayleigh, Haniger, Crawford, Moore, and then you got Ryan Bliss or Jorge Polanco to fill it out, depending on who's pitching, probably. You got Mitch Garver on the bench, Austin Shenton, and Tyler Locklear, a rotation consisting of Gilbert, Castillo, Kirby, Miller, and Wu, and a closer in Munoz. That rotation is so good, so consistent. They deserve better out of their lineup. Last year, they were the most, not that they were the best rotation in baseball, but they were by far the most consistent. They are top five at worst rotation in baseball. Yeah, what do you think about the Mariners, man?
Oh, I'm ungodly high on the Mariners this year. Boys, if they don't win 92 games, I'll shave my head. You heard it here first on Bullpen Banter.
Hey, hey.
No, but I think they're gonna win 92 games this season. I don't love their lineup as much as I love the Rangers lineup, but dude, their rotation. I think I saw a stat where they were like, oh God, they played in like 60 some or just under 60 one-run games, and they had a under 500 record. So it's like if your offense can produce just one or two runs more in those games, you make the playoffs. It's not even, you win that division. Fuck the Astros, man. It's so frustrating because you have such a great rotation. You have such a great bullpen too, that you even look at some of the players in their lineup, Julio, Cal Raleigh, and Rosa Reyna, and Jorge Polanco got a little bit of juice in him still, I think. It's just like I think, they really need to produce. I think J-Ram finished the season a lot, or not J-Ram, excuse me. J-Rod finished the season a lot stronger than he started it. So if he can just produce like he did in the second half, in the first half of this season, I think the Mariners are going to be a real good fucking team. Um, Also, please sign Pete Alonso.
That'd be huge. That'd be huge. That'd be a great signing for him. So they have him projected at 83.5 wins. Me and you both have the over. I have 89 wins for them.
I think 89 is good, I think, dude, Mariners are going to the moon. Just bet on them for sure.
Scott's high on the Mariners. He got him at 92, like he said. So we're getting to our last team now in this division. Of course, it's the Houston Astros. They've dominated this division. For a really long time now, since 2017. Yeah, 2017, even 2016, they were a good team. But 2017, they've been in dominant fashion of not only the division, but I would say the American League. They've been to multiple World Series. They've won multiple World Series. Despite all the cheating stuff, they've proven to be an absolute terror in the American League. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them, hate them, hate them. I'm a Yankees fan, so y'all know that. But yeah, their lineup is Altuve. They just got Paredes from the Cubs. Jordan, Walker. They did lose Kyle Tucker, which is a big hit in my opinion. Diaz, Pena, McCormick, Taylor Trammell, who could be really good, real young guy, or Dubon. And then you have Jake Myers. On the bench, you have Singleton, who got a lot more playing time than he probably should have last season. But now that well, who's the first baseman they just got?
Christian Walker or
Christian Walker. So I didn't even factor him into the lineup when I made this. So yeah, so now you got Christian Walker to even bolster that lineup now. And so Shea Whitcomb and Carantini on the bench as well. That lineup is a pretty good lineup. It's an older lineup, I will say that. probably a little more prone to injury. Altuve is just the definition of consistency. So if Jordan can stay healthy and Christian Walker puts up a similar season to what he had last year, could be a very good offense.
I agree. You know, I will put my bias aside because I fucking hate these guys too more than anything. But you know, I think Christian Walker is a great signing. I think losing Kyle Tucker is I think it's going to be a hit for sure, you know, but I do like the Paredes signing. I've been hearing so much about all the how that ballpark is going to be perfect for his swing, how he's going to hit so
Yeah.
many more home runs.
Mm.
You know, your ding dong is going to hit a million of those things. I like the lineup. Like you said, it is older. They released Jose Abreu in November, I think, because he was just we don't know what that signing was. He was just ass, man. But
Terrible.
when we go into their rotation, I like their rotation a lot more than I like their actual lineup, to be honest. It just seems like you were saying about who are you saying that can just pull out pitching like out of thin air? What team was that?
Astros.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. Exactly, bro. Yeah. So, like you were saying, I just think any one of those five guys, or, you know, they can call up anybody in their farm system as well. You know, they're going to go out and they can compete for a Cy Young. It's pretty crazy that the Astros can do that every single year.
Yeah, 100%. And that rotation he's talking about, Valdez, Hunter Brown, Blanco, Arrighetti, Garcia, Javier, and France, these are all guys who at some point have felt like an ace for the Astros, which is crazy to think. They've all had their moments in these past few seasons to where they had these huge performances or threw a no-hitter or took a PG into the eighth or something or won a massive playoff game. And it's just these guys you never heard of that they signed from like the DR or Cuba or just for nothing. And then they are absolute studs. And on top of that, you have now Hunter Brown, who, if he can figure it out consistently, can be electric. The dude throws absolute gas. If he figures it out and he stays healthy, he can be electric. Arrighetti was a very good surprise last year, in my opinion. I thought he was really well. Garcia being your fifth guy in that rotation is crazy. So I think that rotation is people don't like to give him the credit, but it's the Astros and they know how to develop pitching. Like I was talking about earlier, they can make anyone a Cy Young contender. Valdez could win a Cy Young, and yeah, he doesn't have the best stuff in the MLB. He doesn't throw the hardest, but he could win a Cy Young with how good that they utilize their pitchers. Their closing pitcher is Josh Hader. He's a big question mark.
He is a big question mark, but I'll be honest, he's my favorite closing pitcher in the league. He's my favorite closing pitcher in MLB The Show. Just nasty slider. I suck with him though, unfortunately. Don't know how to pitch with him. But you know, I think he is a question mark. I think, you know, I want to say he struggled in the first half, but did pretty well in the second half, or maybe it was the other way around. Definitely had a moments of being solid, but maybe there were moments where he could have lost his job. I think it's hard because you did go out and sign him or trade for him and give him an I think they gave him an extension, but I don't know. I think it would be I don't think it would be surprising to not see Hader in the closing role once we get closer to the All-Star break.
Yeah, that would be really crazy. Considering I think you're right, they extended him to a 5 year deal, I want to say. So they're stuck with him. So he's gonna pitch for him, whether it be setup or closing. We'll find out. The Astros have that's funny because they are so great at producing pitchers and all these things, but Josh Hader struggled there, who has been absolutely freaking dominant his whole career, other than like a 1 month stint, I think, with the Padres or something. But other than that, he's been a freaking animal. I could see Hader figuring it out and having a crazy good season, or I could see Hader losing his job at some point. So we'll see what happens with them. Nonetheless, the rotation's good. And one thing I will say that I like about the Astros and the way they've managed games in the past, they let their pitchers pitch. The starters go deep into games, a lot deeper than a lot of other teams. And I think that benefits them tremendously because they don't have to utilize the bullpen as much. So when they do, the other guys are ready to step up. And they have three guys in the starting rotation who could all pitch in the bullpen as well. So Astros are projected at 87 and a half wins. I shockingly took their under. I got them at 87, and I just think it's going to be a dogfight. Like I mentioned earlier, I think the Mariners, Rangers, and Astros are all going to beat up on each other a whole bunch. So I have the Rangers and the Astros finishing with the exact same amount of wins.
I like it. I think that's a pretty I think it's a bold take for sure, taking their under at 87, but I liked their over at 89. Like you said, I do think it's going to be a dogfight in these top three teams. Um, I just see the Mariners winning more games. I have my fingers crossed, but don't be surprised if this Astros team goes out and wins. I know I've said this. This is probably my third or fourth time saying this, but don't be surprised if the Astros go out and win like 95 games, like they do
Yeah.
almost every season. They're probably going to win their division and then take it to the ALCS because that's just what the Stros do. Unfortunately, that's just what history is. But uh, but yeah, why don't we finish up with the Astros? Fuck them. Why don't we go ahead and talk about our projected standings? Ethan, why don't you talk
Yeah,
about
so
yours?
our projected standings for the American League West, I have the Mariners winning division. Like I said, I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with, but it's going to be a dogfight. And like Scott said, if the Astros end up winning the division, do not be surprised. If they end up winning 100 games, don't be surprised. Then I got the Rangers and the Astros tied for second, but I have the Rangers winning the tiebreak with them. So I have the Rangers second technically, and then I have the A's in fourth and the Angels finishing dead last in that division, and I think by a lot.
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty similar in our standings projections. I just have the Astros just above the Rangers in the two spot. I see the Mariners winning the division. I'm just so high. I really think they have the potential to go out and win 95 games if they can just, produce offensively. But yeah, Astros second, Rangers third, A's fourth, and Angels fifth. I think, if the Angels do finish below the A's, you just gotta probably just abolish the franchise at that point. The A's are a
Send them to
traveling
AAA.
team. They're a traveling circus team, and y'all are finishing lower in the standings than them. That's not allowed.
Yeah, I agree with that. So, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video of bullpen banter. Thank you for sticking around and watching. Let us know where we got it right, where we got it wrong, and how do y'all feel about the Mariners this year? That's a team, like Scott said, that we're both really, really high on. So, thanks for watching, and we'll see y'all next time.
Peace.